I spoke to a friend today who desperately wants to be able to help her sister. And her sister is going through some struggles, but she's in a place where she's not taking full ownership for herself and where she's at in her life. And she wants to be helped, but she's not helping herself. And this can be an area of great frustration for a lot of people where they have people that they love and they care for and they desperately want to be able to help, but that other person is not doing their part. And this is where we need to be aware of our circles of influence. So we've got three circles: what's within your control, what's out of your control, and where you have influence. And when it comes to relationships, you have influence, you don't have control. And you have varying degrees of influence based on the relationship that you have, but it's not control. And most people can accept that when it comes to their colleagues or even their friends, but often when it comes to family, because there's so much other stuff tied up in there, there's a deep sense of love and connection. Sometimes there's also a sense of obligation that's tied up in there as well. And as a result, people struggle to let go of what's out of their control more. And so they go in trying to influence this person, but with the expectation that this person is going to change because they're so fixated on this person should change and they must change. And so what they're doing is they're trying to inadvertently take what's in their circle of influence and shoehorn it into what's in their circle of control, and that's not where it lives. Fundamentally, the circle of influence is actually part of what's out of your control because you don't have control in that area. So instead, by all means, do your best to try to influence this person, provided that it genuinely and sincerely has their best interests at heart. But if they don't change, if they don't change their behavior or their decisions or how they choose to live their life, you choose to let it go, and instead you choose to genuinely love and accept them for who they are today instead of who you hope they're going to turn into in the future. And what that does is it does two things. Firstly, very interestingly, it actually leads to more influence, not control, but more influence, because when you're in a state of frustration, when you're trying to help someone, what do you tend to do? Why the fuck are you not doing things my way? Right? What does that do? That just makes them more entrenched in their own belief system and in their own behavior. And so instead you relax, you let it go, and you become more creative. But also, if they still don't change, then you now have 100% control again over your happiness, because you're not making your happiness dependent on somebody else changing their behavior, which is fundamentally out of your control.